Senator Tuberville.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here today. Doing a great job. We're 60% rural in the state of Alabama, so hope to see you down there quite often. Farm bill, this is my first one, and I hope we don't forget the farmers because there's so much in this bill that sometimes it doesn't reach the farmers. But I hope we all understand that our farmers are in trouble across the country. We're losing them in our state. I don't know about the other states, but you know, with diesel so expensive, with fertilizer so expensive, urban people are moving south to Alabama, and you can't blame our farmers for selling out because they can make a living. They can make money off their land. And sooner or later, we're going to have to figure out we're going to have to eat in this country. So hopefully, in this farm bill, we will be able to help the farmers, and especially in the rural areas. You talked about your Reconnect program. We've had internet for 20 years, and we hadn't made a lot of progress with internet. We've got to get broadband. We keep talking about it, and it's all about education. I spent 40 years in education, and being somebody that understands some kids that don't have the opportunity, we continue to talk about it, but it doesn't work. We don't connect with that. Now, we've just flushed trillions of dollars in the economy. If we don't get it now, we'll never get it. So hopefully, through some of your programs that we'll be able to work on that. Did I hear you say that you received $2 billion from the infrastructure bill? That's it? $2 billion only?
Out of the $65 billion, that's correct.
Oh, 65? What will that go to?
So we specialize in the most rural places, and it's going to infrastructure.
There's a lot of rural places, though.
Absolutely.
$2 billion is not going to go very far.
And that's why we've prioritized. So some of our priority points go specifically to the least dense areas. Some of our priority points also focus on the most underserved populations, so socially vulnerable, folks who may not be able to pay to get it out there. That's part of why we're investing to make it happen.
Yeah. So let's talk about, and some of the other senators might want to hear about this. You know, as you know, my office has been working with a project in Bessemer, Alabama, which previously received grants from the USDA. Due to inflation, additional funding was required. But since the first funding, the area surrounding Bessemer has grown because of people moving south. And now that hospital does not warrant the new loans that it needs. And so we're going to have a lot of people, a lot of situations like this across the country that are going to continue to grow and run in the situation where they're not eligible for these loans. Could you tell us about that and where we're at on that situation?
Senator Tuberville, it's a great example of one of the wrinkles with the definition of rural. So there's lots of conversations about what is rural and where should we invest and where shouldn't we invest. But another part of that is as communities grow, they may outgrow our funding. And there are some flexibilities. So the Community Facilities Program has a flexibility that if a community is still rural in character, it can still be eligible for funds. But that takes a review process that's currently underway for the facility in Bessemer that you mentioned. And we've got to make sure that we are adhering to what rural in character is, right? Are we talking about the service area being rural in character, or are we talking about the specific location where a place is built? And that brings up some of the same conversations I was having earlier about why are we investing in certain areas and where is that benefit supposed to go to?
So what's the answer?
Well, Congress defines for community facilities the limits there.
So what is considered rural and urban in the eyes of the people that are given these grants? Can you tell us that?
So for community facilities, it's 20,000.
Okay.
Unless they're rural in character, or if it's a community facility is guaranteed, it's 50,000. But there are some exceptions if they're connected to a municipal area. In Reconnect, there's a different definition, and one of the things that we've done in Reconnect is try to balance density of a population with sometimes the distance that you might have to travel if you're a really remote area. So maybe it's a slightly denser community, but it's a long way to a city with over 50,000 people. So there's a lot of complexity. And then you wade into how do we make sure it's also really understandable for folks who are trying to apply for this. So happy to provide any technical assistance we can, recognizing that so many of the definitions of rural are statute.
Okay. Thank you for your help. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.